Hello and welcome to Scarlet Serpent Readings. My name is Gian, and thank you so much for joining me for this pick a card. Notice the camera angle is a little bit different. I got a lot of feedback from people saying, clients that I had read for, that I should also do the pick a cards in this manner, the same way that I do the personal readings, just so it feels more, personal. So any feedback is absolutely welcome. I'd love to hear it, really. Today's pick a card is all about dream interpretation. What messages are trying to come to you through your dreams. And I'll just say that if you feel as though you're not dreaming, you are. It's just whether or not you remember those dreams, and certain substances might block you from remembering. I'm not going to name which ones they are because I feel as though they're different for everybody, but just consider maybe cutting out a certain substance. Usually it's a drug, not necessarily like a casual drug, in other words, but it could be something like coffee or alcohol. It just depends on the individual. So I wanted to put that out there. Let's get into our dream interpretation. I have 3 piles for all of you. Pile 1 is going to be this rose quartz. There we go. Rose quartz is pile 1. Pile 2 is going to be the lapis lazuli for pile 2. And then pile 3 is this green crystal, which I don't really know where it is. So if you need some more time, again, this is pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. If you're drawn to any crystal, you could choose your pile intuitively. The timestamp will be below, and I'll see you at your pile. Okay, hi pile 1, if you chose the rose quartz, we're going to get right into your reading. So if you chose this pile, the oracle card that you got is Transformation, Shedding Skins. So I feel as though the dreams that you're receiving might be a bit more intense than the rest of the piles. They might be disturbing in some way. They might be difficult. I'll just say that it feels as though you might even sweat in your dreams. And this is more of, it could come across as like shadow work as well. So there's a sense of transformation. I would not be surprised if you actually saw snakes in your dream. But also, I'll go into this a little bit. I love dreams, and I'm just completely fascinated by them, and I have my own journal and this and that. Certain dreams in which I died, I would notice when I wake up, a serpentine-like energy comes through me. It's like I'm coming from the ground back into my body. So this might not resonate for all of you, but there might be certain sensations that are physical, that are serpentine in nature, providing new perspective, really. This is about new perspective, seeing your body and your personality, the sense of you changing. That's really what this is. Shedding that old skin. There's the balance of yin and yang as well. Fairly intense, fairly cryptic as well. Like some dreams might be there's just certain people, and it might seem fairly silly and unimportant in a way, but I feel like the dreams that you are having currently, this is a timeless reading, is that they're a bit more intense. They're going to evoke a lot more emotion, and I would take note of what those emotions are and what elements of the dream bring that about, if that makes sense. So if, for example, something like sexuality in a dream might make you nervous or feel uncomfortable, and then taking note of that nervousness in the waking worlds could be a little bit more revealing. So like if, for example, seeing even in a movie when there's a sex scene and it feels completely out of place and it makes you feel uncomfortable, I would consider, wondering why. And that's just an example. Could be for anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Just the sight of a spider or a snake. And a lot of times I feel as though people who are afraid of certain animals really embody them in a way. So in the way of a spider that might really just get you nervous as a blockage, like you might go to a park and there's a giant spider, I know from experience, and then I just freeze. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrifying. But I would take note of the characteristics of that animal. So in other words, spiders they take a while to build. Look at the back of this card too. I'm just talking of spiders and that came up. But they build a web and they trap animals. And I notice that I attract certain types of people that I don't necessarily want, but that's my own web that's really attracting that energy. And once I realize the amount of control that I have over the people that I attract into my life, I could maybe change the placement of the webbing. Just an example, but because I'm seeing snakes, that could have to do with your kundalini and your creative energy and creative potential, and really directing that energy in a different way. So I drew a couple tarot cards. Let's see what they have to say. The first one I brought up was Four of Wands. This particular image shows blossoming. So a sense of really becoming bright, really becoming a fuller version of yourself. And there's a sense of support, stability within that new sense of self. So, I mean, I would even go so far as to say is like, bring forward a sense of community that you've been longing for and what that might feel like through your transformation. So I feel as though there might be hints of, it's like foreshadowing when you step into the fullness of who you really are. And that's honestly becoming a little bit cliche because I'm hearing it so often, who you really are and this and that, but it's just a more natural version of yourself where you don't have to pretend to be this person or tiptoe around this other person's emotions. It's completely natural. And through being natural, you'll find other people who are in that same sphere of authenticity. Okay, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful card. And it's Aries. Venus and Aries. Notice that there's two flowers. So really also appreciating like-minded people and feeling safe with them, that you could be your authentic self with them and that they could be the authentic self with you as well in a loving way that feels natural. Then we have the Ten of Swords. This is, you might be seeing rats in your dreams. That might scare you. These two go hand in hand, of course. I know the Ten of Swords is a card of the sun, actually. So you notice the sun kind of in the background here. So really shedding into light what might seem like something that's uncomfortable. And just, again, notice the feelings that certain images in your dreams bring about within you. So that might be a hint of some things that you might be clinging on to as far as that transformation. Because once you let go of this skin, you'll realize how free you become, but you don't know until after you let it go. Yeah. And I also bring it up because there's a sunflower, and the Ten of Swords is a sun card as well. I believe it's Gemini, but I don't quite remember. So it's like a mental transition as well. You'll notice that the snake is in the mind, looking out through a new pair of eyes. There was a story, I forget what it was. I'm going to mention it though, that there was, oh man. No, it was a myth that a person was actually a snake. There was a snake inside the person. Horrible explanation. I apologize. And then we have the sun. And I had mentioned the sun, didn't I? This is also an image of transformation, the scarab. Let me see if I should have, here we go. A little, my scarab. I see not only this image, but literally the word scarab all over the place. So just know, if you're watching, it may be a slow process. It may be difficult, but you're not alone. Absolutely not. And I think there's a whole really collective of people going through the same thing. Well, obviously, if you chose this pile, there's a possibility that you didn't choose it alone. So this is all of these cards show a sense of transformation. The Ten of Swords, the Sun, but the Sun really, it's more of an inner sun. It's more of an inner sun that allows for this blossoming of yourself. And it comes with confidence, and it's a little painful and slow. So the imagery within your dreams might show you what you're not willing to let go of, or struggling to let go of, something that doesn't really serve you anymore. Letting go of fears, letting go of a sense of identity that isn't you anymore. And through that process, you'll be able to fly freely towards your sun, towards creativity, towards like-minded people. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw one more oracle card from my dragon. I love dragons. Dragon deck. Just to receive any additional messages. Definitely quite a bit of fire energy. The fire signs showing up. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure if you could see that, but this is Thor's red, black, gold dragon. Protects you in times of change. Change, huge word there. A time of rapid transformation and transformation. Transition and transformation. Transformation, the word, comes up twice in this reading. So this is, this is big. It will take as long as it needs to. You'll also notice, I don't really think of this when I choose the cards, but the backs are both serpentine in nature. So just something to keep in mind, especially if you chose this particular pile. Noticing signs of transformation, noticing snakes. If you see a snake on the floor, it's not random, just notice how it moves freely, quickly, and it might invoke some fear, just that fear of change, just because we're all stepping into something we don't really understand fully yet. But it's like, imagine being a fish, or just being underwater all the time in an ocean, and then you have no idea what's up there above the water, but once you step outside, you notice the lightness, that it, how light it feels, just the air, and you see birds. You've never seen birds before. You see clouds, you see the sun, trees, just a whole new environment. It's more of a shift in perspective that I feel as though you're going through. So you're being protected. Thor's a great protector. So just be mindful. If, again, within the dream, if you're dreaming of Thor, or even a hammer, it's not a coincidence either. Or even seeing little nudges in the universe and daily life of snakes, of rats, since they're here, sunflowers, the sun, the scarab, and lightning. If you see lightning or you're afraid of lightning, that's also a sign of being afraid of change, and you won't know how good it is for you until you're on the other side of it. So I hope this reading was helpful. I do personal readings as well in this format, just a lot more cards. If you're interested, you could send me an email there, but hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much. Take care. Hi, pile 2. If you chose the lapis lazuli pyramid, you actually got 2 cards for the oracles, so I'm going to go into that right now. The first card is stability with Lord Ganesha. There's a sense of being grounded. Yeah, definitely very grounding. Feeling safe and secure within yourself. Working with the base chakra. I really enjoy Ganesha's energy. It just feels so comforting and warm, but a little lighthearted, as opposed to someone like Kali, who very grounding, very comforting as well, but it's a bit more intense, And then we also have the birthing card, the push. There's a creative idea within you. And I think what your dreams might be trying to tell you is to be patient with the birthing of this new project. And because I think your mind might be a little bit busy as far as like, okay, well, I have a couple ideas, or I have a vision of what I want to accomplish, but I don't know how to go about doing it. And some of you might be trying to push a little too hard, too quickly, before it's fully ready. I mean, and violet, this is mostly violet. You also notice a snake here, right in the middle of the chest, signifying transformation, but again, creativity. So there's a lot of creativity here. With Ganesha alongside this birthing card, I would say being grounded is going to be your best friend. And with being grounded, also being patient. So you might be getting signs in your dreams of the actual creation of the project that you want to accomplish. Could be work related, could be a hobby. It's a lot of gold here. So I think what you're envisioning is also something that's going to provide a sense of wealth, and something that's going to be noticed by others. Yeah, we'll also see the flower as well. This is a very pretty card, I have to say. But being patient, he has the hand up, staying grounded. So that might be just a message that's trying to come through in your dreams. So if maybe your dreams might have you in a place where you're stuck in traffic, in sand where you're moving slowly and you're trying to move faster, but you're in a situation where it's just not happening. And it might feel frustrating in that dream to not be able to move as quickly as you'd like, but the universe is has its timing, you know. When it's ready, the creativity will flow through with relative ease. I mean, you can't really rush a caterpillar in his, you know, from transitioning into being a butterfly. It's not like, I'm ready now. Ah. Or it just doesn't happen that way. A flower doesn't bloom or get impatient when it's getting ready to bloom. Oop. So I'm just pulling a couple tarot cards here. Two, maybe one more, just to get some more information about the nature of the dreams and what they're trying to tell you. Okay. Thinking I wouldn't be surprised if the star card came up. Let's see. Yeah. And we have quite a few more cards in this pile than we do with the first pile. But there's this intense, so if you were drawn to it, you could of course choose more than one pile. So the first card is Spirit of Pentacles. I would just go so far as to say is that this idea of yours is hopefully going to provide some sort of financial stability, but that's the main thing with this, is a sense of stability. The Devil. I think with the Devil here, it's more showing the discomfort with a lack of progression. Like there's a need to be, especially in America, action oriented, do. Oh, I'm not doing right now. And I think it's just worth noting that this is a process, and even though there isn't any action being taken place on the outside, there is an inner transformation and kind of brewing that goes on. And so this is also Capricorn. So that might within your dream there might be just a sense of that discomfort again, and it might invoke fear of just being stuck somewhere, or if it's like claustrophobic sort of environment or if you have a nightmare, let's say. I'm saying nightmares a lot. Not necessarily nightmare, but it's not exactly a pleasant set of dreams, I feel. Of course, it depends on the day of the dreams, or they change over time. But in other words, it's kind of like going into the X-ray machine, the little tunnel. That might feel uncomfortable, and I think that's part of the lesson with stability, is that, okay, well, you're safe within your body. Just ground yourself, sit next to a tree, and just feel that energy of being rooted in the ground and being secure. Gravity's got you. You're, able to walk on the land and feel safe, and that everything that you need is taken care of for you. We have the Heart of Wands, the Aries. It's all about, you see the flowers there as well, moving forward. And this is, in this case, about creation. Looking at this new found energy, and it's right in between all of the cards that I have so far. So I'll show you. I would even go so far as to say that for some of you, the reason why you might feel like rushing this creative process is because you want to be financially secure. And I think that when it comes to successfully manifesting a creation, that's why the devil card's here. Just not to focus on the financial gain that might come from a creation. So if you're considering writing a book, for some of you, it might be that you're trying to rush the process because you need money. And notice how these two figures are facing opposite ways. So I have a sense of, especially with the devil in the middle, that when you're following your passion and you're creative, it's like inspired action. That's when you're going to get the most results, as opposed to kind of walking backwards and considering, this needs to be done for money. Just focus on the act in itself of creating. And also when it comes to, especially being an Aries, there's a time for action and there's a time to not act. And knowing when to act is going to be, I think, something that's coming up in your dreams a little bit. Like noticing when you're being active within your dream and noticing when you can't move, and again, noticing the feeling you get. And if you don't notice any of these things, I would consider writing down your dreams. If you remember, like as soon as you wake up and you'll be half asleep, just quickly type it and then go back to sleep. But getting up and writing it is important, at least if you want to analyze the dream. Otherwise, it's hard to receive this sort of information. But anyway, inspired action is it's going to help with this push. Yes? Okay, so we have two more tarot cards. We have the Eight of Wands and then the Fool. The Eight of Wands was in reverse. So I think, and I had mentioned it once or twice already within this group, is that you might not be remembering these dreams. And I think there's like a block of communication between, you could say either your guardian spirits, your higher self, your lower self, subconscious self, which I feel is the most accurate, but it just depends. But there's a lack of communication. Okay, yeah, it's the subconscious, between your subconscious and yourself. And again, taking note of, if you don't remember the dreams, I think this is what this card is telling me, is that most of you who pick this pile aren't remembering the dreams that you have. And so again, with journaling, that should help. And just getting in the practice of waking up within, not as you're dreaming, but when you wake up, and just write it down straight away. First thing you do in the morning instead of go on Instagram or Facebook. But it's also a method of communication with your subconscious. And you'll notice the subconscious things as like little habits that you do, or especially notice the feeling of discomfort in your daily life. Things that bother you that really shouldn't. And that could be, again, if you're not receiving the dreams, that could be another way that your subconscious is communicating with you, because I think your higher self and your subconscious are both necessary for this creation. It's honestly, it's not all light, and darkness is needed. It really is. Outer space, there's stars, and then there's the space between the stars. It's all part of the universe, and it's part of experiencing life. Yeah. And then we have the Fool. It's really dreaming big. You might get a sudden insight, and this insight might come from your dreams. So I feel as though, for, again, those of you who haven't been receiving the dreams, once you start making a habit out of writing down those dreams, you could really get some surprising inspiration and insight and really step into your magic of making something that seems completely, and this might be part of what you're trying to bring forth, something that seems completely out of the blue and it's like it's not possible, but you can't. It's like you don't know what could exist by what exists now. You know, like, even if it's a type of healing modality that just seems very outlandish, or, I mean, who would have thought we'd all have computers in our pockets by now, or flying, or have electric cars, like 50 years ago, 100 years ago. So while this thing might seem far off for now, in 50 years it might be part of the norm, and it might be part of the norm that you created or co-created. So yeah, I feel like you might receive a lot of information through your dreams, so I definitely encourage that you write them down, and not just write them down, but guilty, look back at them. I already have 2 or 3 books, and then some I just don't look back, and I probably should, because that's how you, it's a form of communication with yourself. So let's just grab one more oracle card for any additional insight, information regarding your dreams. And this is, of course, a timeless reading. So, okay. Water Dragon helps you flow easily around obstacles. You notice obstacles flowing around obstacles. If any of you know Ganesha, that's what Lord Ganesha is about. Overcoming, flowing around obstacles. So I highly recommend. I actually have, I should have worn, I was going to wear the shirt too. I have a Ganesha shirt. And it's funny, like, the presence of certain animals and beings that are always around you, you might not notice them until later. So don't take that for granted, like just the little connections like this. So it's not just stability, it's overcoming these obstacles with ease. I could imagine Ganesha just jumping over them, like there's a sense of lightheartedness to him as well. So you could be grounded and lighthearted at the same time. And I think, if you become lucid within your dream, you might notice a shift in how you get out of a situation where you feel stuck within the dream. So if you're trapped in a fence, and then you just shift the way you feel, you might suddenly float, or the fence might open, or there might be some sort of transition within the dream that makes moving a little easier. So we also get this. If you see it in reverse, it's like he's jumping over it, over the wands. So I would notice, obviously Ganesha had mentioned being grounded, overcoming obstacles, but I would notice how you move within the dream world. I think that's the biggest thing for this pile. Movement within the dream world as a reflection of how you feel you could move in the real world. So I hope that's helpful. Let me know. I do, of course, personal readings. You could see the information for that in the description. You could just email me if you're interested. I draw a lot more cards. But otherwise, thank you so much for your time and giving me the privilege of being able to read for you. Hope to see you again soon. Take care. Hi, Pile 3, and welcome to your reading. If you chose this green crystal staff, okay, your oracle card is feeling sensitivity. So, any empaths in this group? Really a sense of navigating blindly, it looks like, but with accuracy through feelings. And I think this is a skill that you're utilizing in the day-to-day world, and you might be stepping into more fully now. Just the way your body feels going into certain situations and helping you navigate through, especially decision making, where you don't know all the facts, but your body knows which way to go. Your body could sense the subtle energies, the subtle vibrations within this water that is, the waking world. And that's probably being mirrored in your dreams, where there's a sense of navigating through unknown territory. So there's a sense of skill to that, I think. And I feel as though your subconscious is trying to nudge you in that direction, that you actually know what you're doing, despite what it looks like on the outside. But let's get some more information with the tarot. Hey. We have the Heart of Cups. Let's see. So it's interesting. We have Cancer here. More water. So a sense of navigating, using your emotions as well. And whales are very mystical, magical, I feel, very intelligent. So it's a sort of emotional intelligence. I had mentioned this in one of the other piles, but not only navigating this in the dream world, but also, actually the other way around. Not only being empathic in the real world, but noticing the emotions you feel within your dreams, because those are a little more important than, I think I'd mentioned it in the beginning, more important than the actual imagery. It's like I could imagine someone asking or going on Google, it's like, I saw a starfish. What does a starfish mean? Or I see this. What does this mean? And instead of Googling it, it's coming from you. The dream is from you. So there's a part of you that knows. And I think it's more important to, instead of immediately Googling or asking somebody else, what does this mean, for someone else to interpret that for you, you follow the way you feel when you saw that. When you see that person, if there's a certain type of person that's coming into your life, how do you feel when you see them? Do you enjoy that feeling? What brings that about? And how could you bring more of a feeling that you enjoy into the real world, into the waking world? Like, what set of circumstances create that for you? And there's, again, this mirroring. I just get this sense of like a pool, like a pond, a reflection. But even when the water's moving, even when the waters aren't still, you could navigate. But you might be seeing fish in your dreams, or you might be in water often in your dreams. And it was funny because I'll just mention, I had, at one point when I first started logging and writing my dreams, lots of my dreams were about me drowning. And I was like, why? Because I love the water. But for me, it felt as though I wasn't fully within myself. I wasn't fully able to navigate my emotions. I wasn't fully able to connect the dots between the way my body feels and what's happening. And even more context is like, this was in regards to a relationship that was, that a part of me wasn't really happy to be in, but I was fighting it with my mind. I was like, but this person seems like they've changed, my body's like, no, no. Like I could feel a tightness. I just feel horrible when I'm around you, even though you seem good. I don't know what that's about, but that's honestly what that particular set of dreams feels like in retrospect, is that I was just not analyzing my body. And in the same way that I think I'd mentioned this in a previous reading, how the earth is intelligent on its own. Like the seasons come when they need to, if you know what I mean, it rains when it needs to, and that same intelligence is reflected within our bodies as well. And so if we're in a situation we don't really feel like comfortable in, and there's of course a difference between like just being afraid of going on stage and having butterflies and just a genuine sense of, is it dread or just it really feels uncomfortable, and it's a different sensation. And so I feel like this pile would really benefit from tuning into their bodies as much as possible. And there's those hints within the dream world of how in tune you are with yourself. We have the Two of Wands. Yeah, again, making decisions will become easier when you're tuned into your body. And it's interesting because it's not the Two of Swords or Two of anything else, really. It's Two of Wands. So this is more of action-oriented. There's a... what's the word? I don't know the word. Just a sense of being sure. Like you're making a decision in an Aries way. I think it's Aries and Mars too. So it's like, this is what we're doing. And that certainty comes from being in tune with your body. It's like that crystal ball is the water, isn't it? It's the water that you navigate through. It's the water that you're becoming a master of. Like you're part of that water. You're part of that emotion, and really physical sensation is guiding you to the best decisions with anything. And then we have Sky Father, the Emperor. Aries coming up twice. Very interesting. For me, I'm getting a sense of perspective. This almost feels like a higher self who has a perspective that you don't quite get, but when you follow your feelings, it becomes easier to navigate through the world, you know? There's a sense of wisdom that comes from listening to yourself. It's like, just imagine this figure looking down here. Like this figure, this Sky Father could see, has this view, no? But this figure, this woman is looking down, she's under the water, she can't see from his perspective. So there's a sense of communication here. It's interesting because with one of the other piles is communication with the subconscious self, the lower self. That is important when it comes to manifesting an idea. There's a sense of physicality to it. This is more of navigating like the ethereal realms. So this is more communication with the higher self. And they're both necessary, but this is more about gaining perspective through feeling. That's feeling, sensitivity. What might seem like overwhelming options, obstacles, there is a way to move through them, through life. And if that's been a problem for you who've picked this pile, know that solution could be kind of trying to get to you from your dreams. Just noticing, and if you are a sensitive person, sensitive like physically, what do you call it? Clairsentient. Using that to navigate the dream world as well. So really, if you can, be as present as possible within your dream and just notice how you feel when certain things come up, certain situations come up, certain people come up, and that could be an indication of how you feel in the waking world. I'm a little interested in the Sky Father, but I'll go so far as to say, actually, yeah, I'll pull an additional card, but that's your mastery, a certain sense of self-mastery. That's what you're moving towards. Let's just pull one more card, but I don't know why I keep looking outside. I like being outdoors, and I'm just like, I want to be outside right now. One, two, three. Okay, no, you don't need an extra card. I'm not going to force it either. But, yeah, there's a lot of blue. This is all blue. Every card in this reading has been blue so far. Even the Wands card, which is interesting, though. So that's your strongest suit. The most wisdom that you have comes from navigating through those subtle energies and those feelings. And I think your dreams are trying to teach you, or just help you become more aware of that. We have 3 cards for the oracles. So let's pull those and see what other information they have for you. The orange gold dragon from Arcturus opens you to knowledge for the new golden age. Carry the energy of the future, be a guiding light. These feel very connected. So navigating through unknown territory is the biggest thing here. You might, of course, associate with being Arcturus. I actually definitely do. Very musically inclined and very loving, very spiritual beings. But really what I notice is the dragon's third eye is kind of on fire. So through this wisdom of really being sensitive to the energy around you, to your environment, you'll gain a sense of wisdom. We have the silver dragon, illuminates your potential with higher light, access untapped resources, look into your soul, see higher possibilities. Interesting, again, with the higher possibilities and the Sky Father. So a lot of this has to do with perspective, shifting a perspective. You'll notice both of these dragons are almost at the same vantage point. I might want to read about this silver dragon. So I haven't seen that before, so bear with me for a second. Silver, sound of silver, talk to me, makes me want to feel like a teenager. I'm singing, sorry. Expand your causal chakra. Let's see, choosing this card suggests that you call on the silver lunar dragon to bathe you in their energy, and that you practice peace, harmony, equality, and cooperation within your daily life. Supporting you. A balance of yin and yang onto the planet. So it's really balancing masculine and feminine energy. I'll just mention that it gets a little bit dense for me, this deck, when it comes to a little too much new age sort of stuff, so I don't read everything, to be honest, but please take what resonates and leave everything else. But yeah, this is all about perspective shifting, and it's again a mirror of that through your dream world. And then we have the golden Atlantean dragon. Helps you remember the wisdom of Atlantis, awaken, bring back knowledge, reclaim your mastery. Didn't I say mastery? I'm pretty sure I did. The Sky Father. So these dreams are about developing, I think, a skill, like a spiritual skill set that you have and that you're waking up to again. Again, Atlantis, I feel, is very closely tied to Arcturus as well. And I also, of course, with Atlantis and all of the water, that's not a coincidence either. Being able to navigate through water, physical water, but of course, the water that is your subconscious self, and really interacting with your subconscious in a way that is productive and insightful. And you might be drawn to, whenever I see this card, I'm like, hey, that's me, because I have the exact same, it's the same crystal. I actually pulled the crystal from out of this deck. It's a true story. It's true. Anyway, so you might be drawn to work with clear quartz, just sit with it, meditate with it. Could provide some inspiration, but really this is all about sensitivity. I feel most of you are going to be clairsentient, where you feel subtle energies. It could help with mediumship. It could be used for a wide variety of things, and this is really about navigating those senses within dreams too. So it's kind of like practice in both worlds. And I feel like this group is probably the most spiritually advanced out of the 3 piles that I got. So I feel as though most of you know what you're doing. And you're just stepping more and more and more into Aries mastery, into really developing yourself to the point where you could really help others and maybe teach, generate an income from it. But very wise, very advanced souls you guys are. So that's awesome. So yeah, I think that's all I have for you in this reading. Please let me know how you enjoyed it, how it resonated with you. If you're interested in a personal reading, I draw a lot more cards. It's a lot more in-depth, and you can email me in the description box. You'll have that information there. Please share the video if you think others will enjoy it, and thank you so much for your time and for allowing me to read for you. It's a great joy on my part. So take care. Hope to see you again.